you a question. Have you decided yet? Yeah, remember that? Yeah, I asked you about the color, the orange, the green, the blue and red. Today we know that the Red Party has won the election. Right? And do you remember the big red sign at Trudeau's platform? There's the sign on the podium, on his podium. Real change now. No matter you like it or not, we are entering into a new Trudeau era. An era which is full of changes. In fact, the longing of change has emerged early before the election day, October 19, last Monday. In fact, during the Thanksgiving weekend, there were 3.6 million people voted in the 4 advance vote days, representing a 71% increase over the advance voting in 2011. Political specialists explain this kind of surprising increase often occurs when the voters really want a change. I think that is the wish of our Canadians. At least the majority, if you're not one of them, at least the majority, they put their hope onto a new government, hoping it will bring real change to our country and to our lives, just as what Trudeau's party has promised. And even no real change. But at least a new change is what Canadians want. Last week, I was struck by a comic strip. It's 2 pieces. The first slide received from the comic is a preacher. It's a preacher on a high pulpit. It's not this one, much higher. He enthusiastically asks his parishioners, who wants change? The congregation raised all their hands together with different kinds of approval and agreement gestures, saying, yes, yes, we want change, we want change. Then, in the second one, the second slide, the preacher continued with his great enthusiasm. Ask again, who wants to change? This time, no one raised a hand, but all looked at the ground. The comic strip tells us that the church is pretty much like the majority of Canadians. We want our church changed too. Some might expect the new priest will bring the new changes to the church. He or she might have a magic wand to make the church filled with people, and in the parish hall filled with the aroma of coffee and people with laughter and joy. But they don't think that they are the people to make the change. In fact, aren't we seeing a similar picture in today's gospel? During last several Sundays, we have seen that Jesus keeps teaching the disciples how to live a life in God's kingdom and how to become the heavenly citizens. Remember what he says? If anyone wants to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it. For those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. Also this, whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave of all. Here, the disciples surely want significant change happens in their lives, but they are reluctant to change. They long for the kingdom Jesus has offered, but they keep living in their same mindset and perspective. What we have seen from them, Peter rebuked Jesus to go to Jerusalem. On the road to Jerusalem, the disciples argued who is the greatest. On last Sunday in the Gospel, if you still remember, James and John come to Jesus, ask for human glory, status, and security. And today, once again, we see them forgot Jesus' teaching to care and be compassionate with the needy. They ignore the blind Bartimaeus as the outsider, blocking him to come to Jesus to get healed. In their mind, they might think that we are doing some great thing with Jesus in Jerusalem. Jesus had no time for you, this blind man, the beggar, and sinner. But the healing of the blind Bartimaeus is not just an ordinary record of Jesus' miracles. And our Gospel writer Mark lays at least two ironic but also profound messages in today's passage for his readers, for us to think and to ponder. First, look at the passage. When Bartimaeus comes to Jesus, Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Is this question a little bit familiar to you? Because it is exactly the same question Jesus asked James and John, and you listened on last Sunday. Jesus asked John and James, "What do you want me to do for you?" What did they ask? They asked for human glory and pride and status. But we see that Bartimaeus just simply asked to see Jesus. "I want to see again." For sure, Jesus didn't grant the wishes of James and John, for those things won't bring real change to them. But the healing of the Bartimaeus brings real change to him, because he not only got healed and see again. Right after regaining his sight, Bartimaeus immediately followed Jesus. Where they are going? In a direction, Jesus is going to Jerusalem, to a role of self-giving, self-sacrificing to serve others. Here, I'm thinking a question for you. What if Jesus asked you the same question? What do you want me to do for you? Many years in the church, have you asked Jesus something you really want or you think it don't bother? He is my Savior, or He is God. He doesn't